Welcome to Andrea Lake 101, the making of a billionaire. Today we have Fireside Friday with a very special guest, my very own brother, David Lake, who lovingly around the office is referred to as brother. David has been with the company since 1999 when it started, and in fact is the person who created the Sticker Junkie monkey logo way back in the day. He's an incredibly talented graphic designer and, in fact, coded the very first iterations of the Sticker Junkie website. Welcome, brother David Lake.
Andrea, thank you. Great to be here.
So happy to have you on the show today. And because David knows the whole entire history, not only of Sticker Junkie, but of all of my companies and all of my personal Andrea Lake history, as only an older brother would, he has questions. David, can you please verify that I do not know the questions that are going to be asked today?
That is true. You do not know the questions, and I
Very
have a lot of them.
Very good. In that case, without further ado, I turn the mic over to you for your questions.
Sure. Andrea, I am here in sunny San Diego. You are at a safe house somewhere in Arizona,
True fact. Sedona, Arizona.
Sedona, and you are a big fan of The Walking Dead. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. The Walking Dead proper, the original one, not the spinoffs.
And so, where would you rather be in a zombie apocalypse?
Sedona, no question. Absolutely. Small community, very community oriented, highly defensible. There's only 3 entry and exit roads into Sedona, so you can easily block them off and defend the entry points.
Excellent.
Hard to grow food here, though. So ideally more like Boulder, Colorado in the mountains, but
Okay, are you aware that during my preparation for this Ask Me Anything that I did watch your last show about AI,
Mhm.
and I actually used ChatGPT to help me with this interview.
Nice.
And
It's
are
allowed.
you aware that ChatGPT knows who you are?
ChatGPT does know who I am.
You're
True
like, oh,
fact.
Andrea Lake 101, the host of a series called "The Making of a Billionaire." This series dives into her entrepreneurial journey, starting with her early success at 23 with a t-shirt business, and later rebuilding her empire after facing significant challenges.
Nice. True facts. That's all
Can
accurate.
you talk a little bit about those early days and those early challenges that you faced, and talk about the sticker industry at that time compared to now?
Absolutely. I mean, it was a whole different world. Back then, people were screen printing, so you could do basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color print. However, it wasn't like you could just get, a picture of your family vacation or a picture of your dog super easily printed because digital printing was not really a thing back in the late 90s. That sort of made its evolution in the early to mid 2000s, where you could have like high quality, almost photo quality stickers printed, actually, pretty much photo quality stickers at this point.
Andrea, we've known each other since day one.
Correct.
So, what are some of the key ways our sibling relationship has shaped your approach to business?
Oh, interesting. Well, David is my older brother. However, I do feel like I bullied him into learning how to code, coerced, begged, pleaded, frankly. Because back in the day, David is a tremendous artist. He was our lead creative director for years and years and years. And back in the day, he was such an incredibly, incredibly talented artist. But there were very, very, very few people who knew how to code in the late 90s. And so somebody built me a website that looked like it was made basically for like a law firm. And I showed it to my brother and I was like, oh shit, nobody's going to buy from us with this. And he said, I could create something that looks really great, except for that I don't know how to like translate that to be on the internet. And I'm like, cool, can you learn? Let's just go learn how to do it because I need it and I'm going to fail if you don't do it. And David picked up the mantle and, in fact, learned how to code and did code.
Okay. Many entrepreneurs live by the idea if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. But as companies grow, that mindset can hold people back.
Yes.
How did you learn when to step in and when to step back?
Mm.
And what advice do you have for founders struggling to let go?
Wow, that is a really, really good question. Thank you, David and ChatGPT. Uh, so, this is actually something that my mentor told me years ago that really informed my decisions on exactly this, which was you actually can pack boxes most likely better than anyone in your company. However, do you want to spend your day packing boxes? So I made a list of all of the things that felt like I must do them myself, either because they make the company money or because I just love to do them, or I am the only appropriate person to do them. Like if it's a legal decision, I have to have the final eyes on that for something with the company or a big strategic decision. And everything else I turn over and delegate out to my incredibly capable staff. And then I set an expectation. Now, when I was starting out, I would say if people who are working for me can get something to about 80% of the way there, and I can just go in and nip around and do the last like 20%, then that's awesome. The team that I have now, it's 95, 98% of the way there. And then I just get eyes on it, see if there's any corrections. Very frequently there are not. And if there's minor adjustments, then we make those.
Sweet. And recently you've put together quite a team. And can you describe the vibe of the company, the team that you've assembled?
Absolutely. I could not possibly be more proud of my team. You hear it all of the time when I talk about my team. They are so profoundly capable, so cohesive, so smart. They get along with each other. So when you have a lot of feedback back and forth to your employees and they just tell you like, oh, hey, I'm actually either I'm really good at this or I just really love doing this. Like I really love doing sales or I love doing customer service or actually I didn't realize how much I would like being in production. And when you put the right people in the right positions, it just makes everything flow awesomely. And also when you don't micromanage your people, they thrive and they create all sorts of things. So we do not have the type of people on staff who require micromanaging. We have very, very independent, free thinking people.
Andrea, what's something about you that people will be surprised to learn, especially those who only know the business Andrea?
I actually think that's probably a better question for you, seeing you know me. What do you think?
Sure. When was the last time you got a new car?
2005.
So you've had the G-Wagon for what?
20
20
years.
years?
Yeah, it has 387,000 miles on it. And I've driven every freeway in the country and 70% of the scenic highways. That's probably pretty surprising. I have over 1 million miles that I've driven between my cars, and I drive them until they do not go anymore.
Andrea, you've met a lot of celebrities. You sat
Mhm.
next to Donald Trump, I mean, before he was president.
Mhm.
Um, you've met a bunch of musical artists at the Winston House.
Mhm.
Is there anyone that you have not yet met that you would like to meet? Or, I mean, you don't seem to get starstruck that easily, but is there someone that is on your wish list to meet?
So I have met Oprah actually, but I met her for like a half a second. My company was on her show. I met her for like a minute. She would not remember me. She would not know me. She has literally met everyone. And I have never met Barack Obama, and I would probably be very, very starstruck if I met him. I think Oprah would be the biggest one, and then I'm just a nerd, like a trading nerd. So there's a couple of traders that I have never met, even despite having gone several times to the Milken Institute, and now I'm going to the World Economic Forum, and I have never met several of my favorite traders, but nobody would know who they are. So.
Sweet.
Mhm.
Andrea, you're incredibly driven. What childhood experiences or dynamics between you and I do you think foreshadow the entrepreneurial powerhouse that you would become?
I think I always was doing some little side hustle, and I always really liked money a lot. And so I always knew that I wanted to make just like an unlimited amount of money and be really comfortable with money. But I also knew that I did not want to work in an office environment. And I think that the dynamic that worked best actually for us was that you're a really talented artist and that I am not. And so if I ever got anything in my head, like with the original rhythm sticks, my brother designed a really cool instruction manual so that I could have some packaging to go with the rhythm sticks, or like created the beautiful Sticker Junkie logo many years ago, designed the website. It was just a really cooperative thing to have a brother who's an incredibly talented artist. That did not suck when I was starting new ventures.
When we were younger, though, we did
Mhm.
kind of have a civil, when we
Well,
were younger, we did kind of have a sibling rivalry.
yeah.
You like to lock yourself in the bathroom a lot.
My
Um,
brother liked to chase me and show me new wrestling holds, and he is, what are you, 6'3", 6'4", something like that? Uh-huh. Yeah. And I'm not small. I mean, I'm 5'10", but
when you
like.
locked yourself in the bathroom on The Apprentice, I was like, that's my fault.
Yeah, I would have to run for my life when I was a kid. He would never hurt me, but I was a wrestler.
Would you say that marijuana helped bring us together?
Probably so. Probably so in our teenage years. Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. True facts.
Any glasses of wine for this episode?
This could be. I know, right? If it wasn't
I'm
like
geeking out on
11:30 in the
coffee.
morning. Yeah, we're doing coffee.
Yeah, this is a coffee episode.
If it wasn't early, we'll have to do like a shandy episode at some point.
Andrea, many founders hit moments that feel impossible to overcome.
Yeah.
What strategies or mindset shifts help you stay resilient during the hardest challenges, and what advice would you give to entrepreneurs facing their own setbacks?
Yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. And so when I came back into this company, I mean, you guys, I never thought I would have to work again. Never, never. I had fuck you Gen X money. I was hiking. I wasn't super wealthy because I didn't have a huge desire to have like a mountain of wealth. I just was comfortable. And I kind of was figuring out like my next thing in trading, and I knew that I was a really good trader. But when I had to come back in the company, that was a forced situation. That was not voluntary. And I really was just millions of dollars in debt suddenly. And I think that several things helped, but I'll give you the top two. Number one, I just was really strict with myself. I was like, you have fucking got this, and you are going to go work all day, every day for 27 months, and you will build everything back. And right now we are on month 25 of working all day, every day. So thank God that time is almost over. And the other thing is I would put indicators in my mind. Like I would remember, I would like clock something when it happened that was really fucking hard. So when I got the notification from the IRS, which I've talked about obviously on the podcast, there was legitimately a chance that I was going to be arrested by the IRS because of the type of taxes that I owed. And I had to go in and talk to an agent and explain to him why I actually should not be arrested, which thankfully went really well for me. And the whole time that I was prepping for that, and the whole time that I was literally physically walking into this very intimidating building of the IRS and the office of the IRS, as I was literally walking into the interrogation office that they lock you into at the IRS, I just kept saying, in 15 minutes or in a half hour, this is going to be over. And this is going to be the hardest thing that you have to do in the rebuilding of this company. And that was true. And every really hard thing that I had to do when I had to fire my former employee, that was the manager that had been stealing from me, I would just say, this is going to be over in 8 hours. And it's the hardest thing you've had to do so far. And then, of course, the IRS was significantly harder than that. And so then whenever I stumble upon something that feels hard in the moment right now, it is not harder than going to the IRS and potentially getting arrested. Nothing has been harder than that. And so I just remember, like, you've been through harder things. You've got this.
Totally.
And the differentiator for people that I would say that are CEOs that are stumbling into something that feels impossible is just keep going. Just keep going. The only people that fail are the people that stop trying. If you just keep after it and try new stuff, something eventually will stick, most likely.
Sure. Good advice.
Every now and again.
Right. If I could quote you, Andrea.
Yes, please.
Sure. Well, quote, if you have to work on Saturday, you fucking work on Saturday.
True. I'm certain that I said that to you.
End quote.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
If you could speak directly to someone just starting their journey, what's the single most important takeaway from your life experience that you would express to them?
Figure out what a client needs. Figure out what your competitors are not doing. Figure out the niche that you fill within whatever space that you have, and fucking knock your client's socks off.
Right now, back in the day when you started Sticker Junkie, the whole idea of make your own stickers, like letting people express themselves by making their own stickers. Can you describe like what gave you that idea?
Oh yeah, sure. Because it wasn't like there was a ton of custom sticker places on the internet in 98 and 99 when we rolled out Sticker Junkie. So we were building it in 98, and then it officially launched in January of 99. And I had been running a company called Anti-Establishment Clothing, and we had 98 different designs that all had different slogans, and they were very cool stickers, and I was selling a lot of them, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth a year. And so people would come up to me when I would go into the store, into the record store to sell them, or whatever store I was in, and say, hey, can you make us stickers? Can you make us stickers? Can you make us stickers? And I'd be like, no, because it's kind of a pain in the ass. And then all of a sudden, 5 people in one day asked if I could make them stickers. And I was like, wait a minute, this is the thing. I absolutely can. And that's where I came up with a concept for Sticker Junkie.
Andrea, for anyone facing setbacks, their own setbacks, what practical advice would you give them right now?
Work your face off. Work your face off. Figure out what it is that you need to do, where it is that you need to go, make a plan, and then execute on the plan regardless of whether you feel like it or not. Do it every day. There was a day, I actually have a really wicked, terrible sinus infection right now. I have a migraine. I've had a migraine for the last 5 days from this sinus infection. And it doesn't matter. Just keep going. It doesn't really matter. You will not remember that you had a wicked migraine. There was a day that I took a series of meetings where I had to drive to Los Angeles with like an almost crippling migraine. And I was like, I don't care. I'm not going to remember in a year from now or 2 or 3 or 5 years from now that I had a migraine. But I know for sure that if I make steady progress day on day on day on day towards my goal, I'm going to get where I'm going, period. If you just keep going, if you are on foot and you are walking from Sedona, Arizona to San Diego, where I live, if you just keep going, you will get to San Diego eventually.
When you made your comeback and came out here to the offices in San Diego and said, I need to turn things around, you moved in to this building. And just for comedy, or I mean, can you just describe those first few months of living here in the office? Can you just describe that for us?
Sure. Yeah, I called my best friend and asked her to come down and help me. And at first that was like, hey, can you help me for 2 weeks? And then that very quickly became, can you legit just move in here and we will also build you out a room here. And then we slept in shifts and we would each sleep for 4 or 5 hours a night. We were very suddenly, I'm a bougie fucking chick, right? I eat my Sakara. I got all my stuff, got my really nice wine. I didn't have any of that. We were shopping at Walmart. I had not ever shopped at Walmart for groceries. I never looked at the price of groceries. I was washing my hair in a sink because I very often did not want to take the time to like drive over to the Planet Fitness where I had a membership and I could shower. I was showering in, slides at a Planet Fitness in my G-Wagon, driving over to the Planet Fitness to take a shower because I didn't own a shower. And I did actually have a house that I could have stayed at if I wanted to at my friend Jay and Forrest's house, but it was 25 minutes away and I was working so much that it wasn't a function of like, oh shit, I have to live in the warehouse or else, even though that was true. I actually did have a house I could go to. It was, I cannot lose a minute in the day. I have to sprint. I have to run so fast in the direction of where I'm going or I'm going to have to file for bankruptcy or something. And bankruptcy wouldn't have helped me with the type of debt that I had. So I really, really just had to make all the money back or else.
Right. And so starting the rebuild, can you also describe some of your first hires during that time period?
Absolutely. So at the beginning, we let everyone on staff go. It was just me and Brianna and David, my brother, doing proofs and artwork and stuff. And Brianna and I were doing, basically everything else. We were running production. David would come down sometimes and do production, but we needed him doing artwork. So we were just overwhelmed. But the biggest key factor was I had known how to do everything within my companies for many, many years, except for actually sticker production. It's one of the only things that I didn't personally myself know how to do. And so there was just a huge learning curve. We had to learn what actually were the best machines and equipment did we have that were the best processes, what are the best inks, what is the best packaging material, what is the best everything. We had to redo the website away from a custom platform that somebody else had built and bring it into something that was more streamlined where we could have a proper customer relationship management, proper sales outreach to our clients. It was everything. And Brianna and I wanted to really get a handle on how everything worked. And then the very first hire was Jenny Le Armendaris, who is now, oh yeah, Big round of applause for Jenny. She's fucking amazing. She was our office manager. She has become my personal right-hand chief of staff. She handles everything. She is profoundly good at her job. And she herself knows every single thing about the ins and outs of Sticker Junkie, and truly, truly a lifesaver. Then I somehow convinced Emily to come on our staff, who's like got a master's degree in industrial design. She's such a fucking baller. I don't even know how I convinced her to come on staff, or Brian Burling, or our general counsel. Like it just was so gnarly for us to put together a new, what we call the talking heads, like a council that figures out everything we're going to do next. It was crazy. It was cuckoo pants. It was really hard. It was 24 hours a day. If I was awake, I was working, period, especially first year.
Another one of your great hires was David.
Oh my God. So fantastical. Everyone on my team has been a great hire, but David is an extraordinarily talented artist.
I came into the office last month,
Mm-hmm.
and I just said, "Hey, David, I have an idea for a sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make it kind of like a badge that says, 'I'm smarter than a fifth grader'?"
Uh-huh.
He whipped this up in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah.
They put it on a sheet. It was done the same day. Can you describe how fast things are getting at Sticker Junkie?
It's mind-bending how quick our processes have gotten. Generally speaking, you get a proof within an hour of ordering, sometimes 2 hours. Very occasionally, if we're slammed, later that day. The stickers then get put onto a sheet because you gang run a bunch of stickers at the same time from a bunch of different orders. And it is on the presses, generally speaking, that day or the next day. Then it gets laminated and put onto the cutters. Our turn time average is 3.2 days in Sticker Junkie, which is incredibly fast for a custom product. And that includes all the people that like don't get back to us, don't respond to approve the proofs for a while. So really it's like a couple days for a custom product and your order is out the door.
Sure. And Dave M in production is super proud of that. He's always like, "Yeah, we got it down in like 2 days, 3 days. That's amazing."
Yeah, we have an incredible team, and Dave in production is phenomenal. Our night manager, Dana, in production is fantastic. Our support team,
Dana,
Chance,
yeah.
and Kiana, yep, and Alex, and a bunch of other folks who are back in production are just, we have an incredible staff, and everybody is super good at what they do.
Let's just give everybody a shout out.
Literally everybody, every single person on the Sticker Junkie staff is amazing. We are so lucky. And we're really good at listening to them and accepting their feedback. Dana came to me with a couple of concerns last week, and I was like, oh, yeah, we will immediately change that. Immediately. Mhm. Those are completely valid.
Andrea, if we take a look 10 years from now, what goals are you chasing besides being a billionaire?
Yes. So Sticker Junkie to $1 billion in revenue, although we have really discussed that internally. And quite frankly, once we hit somewhere above 250, so somewhere above 250 million to 400 million in revenue, we'll be expanding into a bunch of different product categories along the way to that, like packing tape, a lot of packing oriented products. And we quite frankly just might not want to do that. So we might just hold at the several $100 million level. And the other huge goals that I have are to roll out the other companies too. We're not just only rolling out Sticker Junkie. We have been concurrently re-rolling out Delinquent Distribution, which is a distribution licensing company that I used to own. So we will acquire lots of licenses, I would imagine. A lot of the companies that we work with already have a lot of licensed properties, and we haven't taken over that portion of the business yet, but I imagine that we will. And then in addition to that, I'm spinning up my trading portfolio right now, and I am at 81.2% profit for the year. Those are realized gains. This is stuff that I have sold. So I'm going to roll out an instructional course on how to trade on a system of compounding returns and teach people how to do compounding returns. Mm-hmm. Lots of business goals.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And any updates on Power Chick Mafia?
Power Chick Mafia has not done an official relaunch. There are still things that I do with Power Chick Mafia internally with my girlfriends. But we're going to do a wide release launch, and it probably will be around trading on a compounding return.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. And also an entertainment arm. So we're going to do an entertainment arm for Power Chick Mafia. entertainment, we will end up inking a deal with one of the big streaming services and creating very, very cool content specifically catered towards really powerful women.
You consider yourself an entrepreneur.
Yes. I've started like 18
Can you
companies.
spell the word entrepreneur?
On the fly like this? ENTREPRENEUR.
Very good.
Entrepreneur.
From your perspective, what separates a good entrepreneur from a great one?
Oh, yeah. So a good entrepreneur, you're just going to be looking at your metrics, right? What's your bottom line? How much money is your company making? Is it actually profitable? Is it successful? I have seen good entrepreneurs that have very, very large companies treat their employees like complete fucking garbage, like they are not even human beings. It is untenable to me the way that most companies are run. They are blaming their employees when something doesn't go well. They are not taking the personal responsibility themselves of their own creation, of their own company. And shit like that flows down from the top. If you are being punitive towards employees when they are taking sick leave or requesting vacation leave, then you're just a shitty boss. And if you're blaming your employees for something that goes wrong in any division of your company and sort of threatening them like you're going to get fired if you don't improve, then you are a shitty, fucking terrible business owner. Also, if the spread is really high and you're not paying your people a living wage and you have the profit to be able to do it, that's humongously problematic. If you don't have a team that respects you, generally speaking, it's because you're not treating them very well. And so that would be a great entrepreneur, is someone who has the respect, admiration of their team and creates a cohesive team where everybody is going towards the same goal.
And lunch on Fridays is a motivator.
Yeah, we do group lunch every Friday, and it really brings the team together. We also do all hands meetings at least once a week, very often twice a week, where we update people on the financials of the company, the outlook of the company, where the spend is, and everyone on my team understands what the growth of the company means to them personally. They understand what it means as a team, and they understand when are we getting everyone on healthcare? What dollars do we have to hit in order to give the next round of raises? How much do we have to make as a company? It's 12.25 million to very comfortably be able to afford to have everybody above a living wage. And so then we update everybody. Quarterly, we do a deep dive into the financials, but very, very frequently we update them. We got this client, we're just about to close this. We really keep it cohesive for everyone in the organization to understand what's going on as a company.
That's inspirational. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Andrea, you do talk a lot about a living wage and healthcare and those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any political ambitions?
No. No, but I have had several people recently of my friends say, you should run for president. I'm like, I am good. Thank you. But I'm really happy to be able to talk to people.
No desire to run for president?
Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But I like that I'm able to talk to people across the aisle because I feel like we're so incredibly profoundly polarized onto two very radicalized points of view with very, very little conversation in between and very little respect for the fact that people have lived a whole life to come to the conclusions that they have come to. And so if you don't have dialogue and everybody's just screaming at each other about stuff that they quite frankly are just never going to agree on, a far better way is to talk about all of the things that all of us agree on to make this country truly, truly great. Mm-hmm.
Andrea,
Mm-hmm.
Sister,
brother,
can you talk a little bit about Mom's involvement in Sticker Junkie since the beginning?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I've talked very, very openly on here. My mom gave me a huge loan, which kept the doors open. I really do want to clarify because I got some comments on that of like, oh, you're just this and you're just that. I know a lot of very fucking wealthy people, and there's a whole bunch of people that would have given me money. I am an incredibly, incredibly proven serial entrepreneur, so I would have found the money from somewhere. The degree of trust that my mom had with a very, very big amount of dollars that was out of her retirement savings is astounding. And she's just always been such a huge supporter of me on my entrepreneurial journey.
Sure.
So thankful. Hey, Mom.
I know. I love Mom.
I love Mom too.
And there's so much Sticker Junkie that I wish Dad was here to see.
Me
honestly.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he would have been really proud, really proud. Mhm.
I know 100%.
Yeah. Aw, make me tear up. Yeah, so my dad was the chief of the boat, but he always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so once dad had retired from the Navy, he convinced my mom to leave a very big corporate job, a very important corporate job where she, quite
True.
frankly, was one of the only women that was, in management at a humongous Fortune 100 defense contractor, and convinced her to start a real estate business. And very quickly, within I think it was within a couple of years, they were the number 3 real estate agents for all of California for Century 21. And that is an entrepreneurial job, being a real estate agent. You're doing all of your own lead creation, you're getting all of your own clients in the door, and then you're fitting them with the perfect house and hand holding them through the whole escrow process, which is a complicated process. And so to see them thriving and happy and loving what they were doing at the real estate office, I worked for them part-time when I was a teenager, was awesome. And my dad always encouraged me to be an entrepreneur. He's like, "You're not going to do well working for someone else. You just do not have the patience for it." And I'm like, "That's completely true."
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
So I've told this story on the blog before, but since we're live,
Yes, please.
I was in college at San
Mhm.
Diego State University. I was an art major,
Mhm.
and it was around the time that you would have been going to college.
Would have.
And I'm in the old rusty truck with Dad, and he says, Andrea's not going to college. What the hell, Dad? You raised us up like you go to school, you go to college, you get a good job, and that's what you do. I'm like, what the hell? And he goes, son, some people, you know, college is for them. Other people, it's not for them.
Mhm.
Well, you know, he's like,
I
don't worry about your sister. She'll be just fine. Just get your art degree and, do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe what he actually said is, "Don't worry about Andrea, she's gonna make more money than all of us combined."
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. I can only
Exactly.
imagine how that felt to hear from your perspective. I know he only had good intentions, but in my household, it was
And
not a
I'm like,
Mhm.
raw.
In our household, my mother and my father both were the first people from their individual families to graduate from college. So there was never a conversation of whether or not you were going to college. There was the conversation is, where were you going to go to college?
Right.
So I was going to go to UC Santa Cruz. That was my dream, be a banana slug. And then I started rhythm sticks. And very quickly, I was making so much money. And I also was canvassing door to door for that pro choice organization for KRAL. And I was making like 70 grand a year when I was 18 years old. And so I very quickly was like, wait a minute, people go to college to learn how to make money. And I already know how to make money. So I am just going to go do this. And it was a daunting conversation to have with my parents. And almost immediately, my dad was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense to me, Kathy. Does that make sense to you?" And I literally couldn't believe it because I thought it was going to be some very big deal. He's like, "Yeah, you're just going to be a great entrepreneur." I was like, "Wow." So I can only imagine how that felt for you, David, after getting your 4-year
they
degree
had
in
faith
art.
in me. They had faith in me in a different way, so it's
He
fine.
did. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's
Okay.
absolutely true. Yeah.
Right. And our parents, some of the most supportive and
Oh,
that
yeah.
so we had a very good upbringing. Some might call it privilege, call it whatever you want.
Mhm, mhm. Well, and our parents were hustlers. Like, my mom was a
Oh,
waitress when I was born, and my dad was like
in the Navy.
lowest and lower enlisted in the Navy. He was not an officer. And they both worked their way up to get what they got, and they both were working full time while raising kids and going back to school. So
Hmm.
profoundly hardworking people. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so they didn't, even though I did end up borrowing a lot of money from my mom, which I am paying back with interest, they showed us what it looked like to really work for something that you wanted, and they required us to work for what we had. We did not just get a car when we were 16. We had to save up the money to buy a car. And all of the things like that, they required us to work when we were, as soon as we turned 15 and a half, we had to get a job and pay
Hmm.
rent to live in the house, contribute to the
Right.
household. Mhm.
Paper route, pay rent.
Mhm. And then they surprised us when we moved out and gave us, the rent money that we had paid them.
Every time we paid, it was only $100, but
No,
it
it's
was electric.
150.
Okay, so but it was a
Which
lesson
was a lot
in
back then.
it
Right.
was a lesson in, having to pay something.
Yes.
Little did we know that they were taking that money and putting it in a what do you call it, savings bonds?
Yes.
And then when we got it, it almost matured, and then it was, a nice sum. I don't know how you found that out because I had 0 idea, and then you were like, "Hey, what's up with that money?" Or how did Dad tell you, or how did you find out?
I don't remember. Well, they had 2 separate things that they did. So, my parents would invest the money that we paid them in rent in a system of compounding returns, which was one of the first ways that I learned about compounding returns. And it was making something good, but like nominal, like 4 to 7% per year on compounding returns. So all of a sudden, this money we paid them had really grown and matured. So they gave it to us when we moved out, and it was enough for like first, last, and some furniture when we moved into our own apartments. Then there was a separate pile of money that they had saved for college for us. And I did not go to college. So I actually went to them when I said that I wasn't going to college and said, "Oh, hey, I know there is a pile of money specifically earmarked for college, and I think it would serve me better to invest that into my first company." And it was a lot. It was $7,400, which I know that doesn't sound like a ton of money these days, but it was a lot back then. And I got the $7,400, which would be the equivalent of getting like 25 grand today, and was able to go buy a ton of materials to make rhythm sticks with that and to really, truly, properly start that company.
Andrea, I have this idea that maybe you should start your own book club. Any recommendations?
I like it. I like it a lot. This week, I will recommend Atomic Habits. It's a fantastic book. It teaches you how to integrate and habituate your life. And anything that you're wanting to do that you're sort of not doing, it teaches you how to actually stick to your new pattern and your new routine. I actually was thinking of doing something similar to like Oprah's favorite things also, because when people come to my house, to either of my homes, they're always like, "You have the best this, you have the best nut butter, you have the best coffee, you have the best way of making your coffee, you have the best mattress." And I'm like, "I have the best everything." And it is not the most expensive everything. It's just that through life, I'm like, Tuft and Needle, literally the best mattress. There have been dozens of people who have come and stayed at my home that sleep on a Tuft and Needle mattress that will walk away and go buy a Tuft and Needle mattress because it's the best one. And it's really not that expensive of a mattress. This is not an ad for Tuft and Needle. Or like, "Oh my God, Fix and Fog actually is the best nut butter." I agree. So I think that I should also do like a Oprah's favorite thing, sort of Andrea's favorite thing list.
Mhm.
Hmm.
What about a cooking show? You make a great grilled cheese, you make
I
good
do.
popcorn.
I do. I've always said that my fallback life, like if all else fails, I'm going to open a gourmet popcorn shop in Sedona. I make my spice mixes from scratch, and I infuse my own oils. So I make a killer Mexican popcorn. I make a killer citrus popcorn, which sounds super weird. And there's no weird sugar glaze coating on it. It's just like very savory and delicious, very
Oh, no,
balanced.
I've had your popcorn. It's 100%.
It's legit. And grilled cheeses, I literally thought, I'm not joking, I've talked about this with people when I was on The Apprentice, just like all of my other castmates. I'm like, I actually really want to write like the grilled cheese Bible. It was before a lot of people did tons of cookbooks, because I do have so many different, really, really like wildly delicious grilled cheese recipes.
Nice.
Yeah.
You should write that book.
Little pumpernickel with some cream cheese, slice up some roasted green chili peppers, and then burn a little cheese on the outside, like a little
Right.
pepperino or something.
Well, I've been watching a lot of just YouTube food challenges,
Oh yeah.
try the grilled cheese, stuff like that. What have you been watching lately, if anything?
Ooh, I just finally watched the Squid Games. It's a recommendation of our
Oh,
attorney,
good
actually.
game?
And Squid Games, yeah. You recommended that to me years ago, but I just
Mm-hmm.
never ended up watching it because I didn't want to take the time to read the subtitles, because usually if I'm watching television, I'm also building Legos. So it's got to be something that I mostly can listen to and then also watch. And I did not know that you could just like watch it in English. And I don't like the disconnect when you can see somebody's mouth moving differently than the words, but because I'm building Legos, when I'm
Yeah,
when
the
I'm
dub.
building it, it's not. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
No, that is a good show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Department Q is awesome also. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you say it again?
Department Q is probably my best recent find on Netflix. Yeah, it's a British show. Very, very well done. Sort of a
Oh, I'm watching
detective one.
Task on HBO. Task.
Oh, I just was thinking that. Is that good?
The first 3 episodes, and I think I have a new episode to watch when I get home today.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, new episodes on Sundays, I believe.
Okay.
And I was telling Brian earlier that I just watched Marvel Zombies.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the animation style.
All right, friends, that has been this week's Fireside Friday. Andrea Lake 101, the making of a billionaire. David Lake, thank you so much for being here. All right, any final words from you, brother?
I just want to say I love you. I love mom and dad. And I really appreciate you having me on, ask my silly questions and everything. I'm down here at the shop and I look around and everything is going spectacularly. And I really enjoy everyone here. And I think things are just on a roll and let's just keep it going.
I like it. Up and to the right. And with that, we bid you adieu. Join us next week where we are going to do a Sticker Wars episode with all of the wild madcapped world. It's like Tiger King, basically, the sticker industry. Super fascinating people, really big personalities. It would be a fascinating show. I hope we get to make that one day. But I will get you up to speed with the madcapped wild world of stickers in next week's episode. Get your popcorn, get your wine, and I will bring all of the tea on Andrea Lake 101, the making of a billionaire. Peace out, David.
Peace.